This session would not have been possible without very, very serious commitment in terms of media and support. We would like to acknowledge here the presence of three key supporters to this project. The first one that I would like to invite to take the floor is the president of the National Association of Black Journalists, Mr. Brian Monroe, an organization representing 4,000 American journalists working in the United States. Brian Monroe, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Jabril. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, Mr. President, esteemed delegates and dignitaries. And thank you, youth leaders from around the globe, for being here and having us here. I applaud the United Nations, its member states, the Secretary General, and of course my friend, Jabril Diallo, for pulling together this exquisite and historic gathering of the world's youth leaders. This year also marks a high point in the ongoing partnership between NABJ and the United Nations, a relationship that has exposed dozens upon dozens of black journalists to international coverage and helped send recently this May, helped us lead a delegation of 11 NABJ members to Tanzania and Zanzibar to shine a light on and break the back of malaria in Africa. As NABJ president, I bring you the greetings from the nearly 4,000 members of the National Association of Black Journalists, the largest and oldest media organization of color in America. I also bring you greetings from our partner organizations in Unity, Journalists of Color. Along with NABJ, the Asian American Journalists Association, the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, and the Native American Journalists Association represent nearly 10,000 of the best in television, print, radio, and online journalism in America. I am proud to call them my colleagues and my friends. But what makes me the most proud are you, the young folks, particularly the young students who are here covering this event online, in print, and on the radio. We have a few of them here. Please acknowledge them over here. Thank you. These students and many of you from around the globe are literally changing the way this planet works. For instance, look around. According to a study at the University of Southern California Annenberg School of Journalism, young people like you in their teens, early 20s, certainly compared to your parents, young people like you will rarely, if ever, read a newspaper, will never own a landline telephone, will not watch television on somebody else's schedule. You see your cell phone, your mobile phone, as your primary tool for data, text messaging, e-commerce, networking, and oh yeah, you talk to. Your communities, whether they be real or virtual communities, are the center of your universe. You're less likely to trust traditional sources, experts, and more likely to trust your peers, whether they be online or offline. And well, email is something your parents do. Yes, for your generation, there is no such thing as new media. For you, it's just media. These days, you have made technology around the globe the great equalizer. The press today will bear little resemblance to the press 5 or 10 years from now. When a coup happens in Bangkok, within seconds, you'll get video on your cell phone or on YouTube. When an explosion rocks a subway in London, within moments, it's on your sidekick sitting in Los Angeles. Today, you are just as likely to engage in a real-time conversation with a friend in Bangladesh as you are with a friend in Boston. All via SMS, text messaging, whatever you use. The medium doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the information. And you know something? The information will always win. No matter how hard some move to restrict access to a free press, restrict the free flow of ideas, restrict the reporting of news, in the end, information will always find a way. Individuals, particularly those armed with the latest technology, will find a way to get the information, the ideas, those ideas that matter in your lives, to set them free. Like a mighty river, the free flow of information will find a way to persist, unstoppable, no matter what is put in its path. From the Gutenberg Bible to the offset press to my Palm Treo PDA, as new technologies have emerged to help the dissemination of ideas and informations, some governments, some authorities, some individual has always tried to shut it down. Whether it's a crackdown on independent newspapers in Zimbabwe or restrictions on internet access in China, somehow, some way, the information finds a way to break free. In Moscow, a journalist is shot, but the story lives on. And here in New York, a reporter is thrown in jail, but the story only grows bigger. No matter what is thrown in the way, the information survives. Even though, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists, 42 journalists have been killed around the world this year, their lives, their stories, their ideas, the information they championed still lives on. Truth cannot be silenced. And that's the way it should be. A free and unfettered press is critical to the development of civil societies and crucial as the primary tool to inform liberty and defeat tyranny. Information, truth, should always win. But it's also critical who is out there gathering, reporting, recording, and editing and disseminating all that information. Who's out there speaking the truth to power? For instance, here in America, the voices telling the story of America, too often, they don't reflect the rich diversity of America. Too often, people who look like me, who look like you, are still not at the table when decisions about coverage and content in the news media are made. And in the process, our democracy suffers, our liberty suffers. We must fight the status quo. We must fight the power. But remember, as journalist and statesman Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. So whether you are a young journalist speaking truth to power or a young diplomat who uses truth to promote peace, you will nevertheless be in for a fight. You will, however, have the advantage of youth, of passion, and of technology. And finally, let me remind you that the journey you have ahead of you, whether you strive to excel in journalism or justice, politics or public service, that journey will be tough, but ultimately it will be rewarding. Along the way, you will face many people who will tell you you can't do it. You're not good enough. You won't make it. But let me be the first one to tell you, they will be wrong. Quincy Jones, my friend and legendary music and film producer, he told me the other day about a phrase that he and the late entertainer Ray Charles, the two of them grew up in Seattle together, something they'd say when the opinions of others got them down, when the struggles of being young and black in America almost became too much. They would say simply and loudly to each other, not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me. That's so true. Yes, your journey will be hard, but it also will be rewarding. So I leave you with an old African proverb on the values of that hard work, something that's given me strength. Not everyone who chased the zebra caught it, but he who caught it chased it. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.